so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, this episode of the Positive Head Podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online, and you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. All right, all you positive heads, welcome. It is a fabulous Thursday in the studio. That's my new, very ridiculous word that I came up with a few Thursdays ago. Yep, I'm sticking to it. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure and honor to connect, grow, learn, explore, etc. with you all. I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to read a review on iTunes. You guys know I love my iTunes reviews. Not only do they help us to reach new people, but they definitely help to fuel my labor of love here, fuel my fire, if you will. When I get feedback from you guys, it means the world. And Just Another Leo wrote in, Scary Synchronicity is the title. Ooh. I'm currently in the midst of a major life change and have been teetering back and forth between whether this is the right path or not. A few weeks ago, my fiance kept looking at the clock when it read 12:12:34 or 12:34. And my first response to him was, oh, that's cool. He saw it again a couple more times, and it wasn't until I got a car insurance quote for $1,234 that I was completely floored. I finally turned to the rabbit hole, and sure enough, 1234 is the universe saying you are on the right path and that we are moving upward. Thank you, Brendan, for providing an outlet for people to explore their spirituality, reality, and vibration. Please continue our wonderful work. I say our because you are just another reflection of me, right? Anywho, thank you, and I love you so much. Yes, I love you so much, and I am a wonderful reflection of you, and you are a wonderful reflection of me. And, it's wonderful how the universe can communicate with you via messages, license plates, numbers. I mean, it's really... when you realize that you're sort of at the center of it all and where you're giving energy, where attention goes, energy flows, and it will, it'll use whatever method you are open to, right? To send little winks, or as someone told me the other day that I really liked, a little tickle from the universe. And so, yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you realize you can't get it wrong and it's always working for your greater good. It's happening for you, not to you, right? And that's actually what we're going to talk about a bit today, is not living in fear, moving out of a fearful state and, trusting what's coming your direction. And it was inspired by a question here. And, before I get into the question, though, I do want to throw out to all of you guys that are joining the 40-day transformation metabolic reset / 10-day cleanse in the middle. We're going to be starting that on June 4th. So super excited. We'll be posting in the Facebook group. So make sure you're in there. Positive Heads with an S. And even if you're not doing the cleanse, what are you doing not in the Facebook group? How dare you not connect? and show your bright, shiny, happy face in there with the rest of us. There's about 5,000 people now. We're actually probably any day we'll hit 5,000. So that's a cool mark. And I just wanted to throw that little bit of info out there. There's probably 30 some of us that are doing this cleanse together. And it's not too late for those of you who would, by the way, want to do it, because the first, we're not going to jump in until the 11th to the 10-day part. So really the first week or so is just kind of ramping up, and then you're doing your core 4 and just eating what you normally would, or hopefully you're eating healthier, on the healthier end of what you would eat. And then by so June 4th we'll start that, and then June 11th we'll start the actual 10-day piece, which is you can still eat, but it's limited flex foods as they call them, and you'll see a list of those shared in the group. You'll see it in when you order the products that you'll be taking. There's a list of flex foods and everything like that. So any of you guys who still want to jump on board, it's not too late. Even if you got your stuff after the 4th, for one, you can FedEx for only $7 more. You can get it overnighted to you if you go to positivehead.com/Purium, Purium, and order the stuff to take the journey with us in the group. I would love that. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I haven't ever done any kind of a cleanse, and this one seems easy-ish compared to how hardcore some can be. 30 days were just really, for me, I'm going to keep taking the core 4 forever. I love that about these Purium products. It's like, hey, take this shake every day. You're getting the highest vibe, nutritional content, and go about your day. Whatever else you have from there, that's on you. But at least you're getting your staple, your foundation. And then, so you can order, you can get the stuff quick, even if you get it a little late, no problem. You can join in with us and use the code POSITIVEHEAD to get your 25% discount when you're checking out. It comes out to around $7 over the 40 days, I think $7.50 a day to participate. And if you want to check out the episode that was recorded with David Sandoval to hear all the details, it's actually on the page, positivehead.com/Purium. There's a webinar we did with Tala and Ema and myself a few days ago that goes into a lot of detail about it. So feel free to check that out. But yeah, real excited, and we'll be going down that road together very, very soon. And just wanted to throw out that little bit of business because people have been asking me for more details, and they'll be forthcoming in the group. This question came in by Teoko, and Teoko said, "Hello, Brandon. I am relatively..." Oh, real quick. Psych. Do people still say psych? I think that makes me old. That used to be a thing, guys. And what I wanted to say, if you guys want to write in your own questions, you can do that. I love getting questions from you. I haven't been taking many lately, but I love getting questions, and you can write them directly to me, Brandon@positivehead.com. Okay, this one came in from Teoko, and Teoko said, "Hello, Brandon. I am relatively a new listener, but I'm so thrilled I stumbled across your podcast. It has now become a part of my daily routine, and I look forward to it every day. If you don't mind, I have one question that I've been struggling to find the answer for. Perhaps you can share some of your wisdom with me. I consider myself to be a pretty intuitive person, but I also feel that I'm still a baby in this spiritual journey. My focus lately has been on staying positive and working on attracting the kind of life that I want for myself. However, I get very confused when I have a negative feeling about something, like a bad feeling about people or an event. For example, I'm working on a new project for my work, and I just keep getting this yucky feeling that I shouldn't do it. And I'd like to trust my intuition, but at what point are my negative thoughts and feelings attracting negative events? Should I be working on turning my negative thoughts around to try to attract positive outcome, or should I be listening to my gut feeling? Any advice you can give will be very helpful." This is a really, really good question. One of the things that instantly comes to mind is, we do have intuition and things that can guide us away from, maybe something that's not best for us. That I realized, and I want to say maybe even I heard a video a while back from Teal Swan. We're actually going to share one from Abraham here in a minute, but I think it was Teal Swan talks about this. So you might want to Google, and if I'm recalling, one of the things that she said, and I think it's where I heard it originally, it's like if you're in a state of fear, you're out of alignment. And this is actually something Abraham talks about in this next video we're about to play. If you're in a fearful state, you're out of alignment with your higher self. It's not fearful. Your higher self is never fearful. So you're not, intuition is something that happens when you're in alignment that you get information from your higher self. So what is the state when you're getting this intuition? Are you in a state of fear? And, or, it will be something that's encouraging you in a certain direction, right? More than putting you in this. And now that, Teoko here has stressed being in a lot of fear, but a lot of times that's what it is. And so I'm speculating it could be, a yucky feeling isn't very far from fear. I don't know with your work if you have the option about what projects you work on. A lot of times with jobs, that's not the case. If you do, and you have a feeling that doesn't feel in alignment, maybe just choose otherwise. I feel like, that's a great thing to do. But getting really negatively focused on it, what's the point? It's like, there's nothing that's really bad. Even if something trying would come from your experience doing the project, it's happening for you, not to you, right? There would be growth. So if we can change our perspective on it being bad or good, certainly if your gut's saying, hey, a higher path is this way for you, and you're feeling in alignment, you're feeling good, that's your intuition. If you've spiraled into a lot of fearful thoughts about it, and then you're making a decision, I think, you're out of alignment, and it's less your intuition, and you've let, fear take over, right? The only thing to fear is fear itself, ultimately, because it takes you out of alignment. It takes you out of alignment with receiving that information. The way your higher self is going to guide you is, hey, go this direction. It's like being for something and against nothing more, right? And so what I'd like to do is actually just jump right into this video, because there's a lot of really good stuff here. This is Abraham feeling the difference between fear and intuition, and I found it on the Z Mahoon YouTube page. So we'll listen to this now at this point, and then we'll talk about it.
When looking at internal guidance, sometimes I find it...
When feeling for it?
Feeling for it, thank you. Yeah, I find it hard to feel the difference between fear and intuition.
Well, sometimes, as we were talking earlier, a don't go this way and a go this way mean the same thing. But in the feeling of fear, you really are, anytime you feel negative emotion, it always means exactly this. You're looking at something right here and now in a way that your inner being is not. In other words, your opinion and your inner being's opinion are not the same. So when you feel fearful, it's just a vibrational misalignment with what the source within you knows to be. You see, if you wait until you're way out here on an extreme wobble, it's hard to tell what to do because there's so much momentum. But if you're catching it at the earlier stages, it's easier to feel. In other words, when you think about it, if you don't have some subject in mind, when you think about it, if we just ask you, about emotions? You felt different emotions. You know what it feels like to be happy, and you know what it feels like to be concerned. Do you prefer to be happy or concerned?
Happy.
Well, it's easy to say that, isn't it? But if you were in the middle of big-time concern...
Oh, it feels good.
And well, it doesn't feel good, but it's hard to stop anyway. In other words, if we were to say, well, don't be concerned about that, you say, well, that's easy for you to say. I'm concerned for all of these reasons because there's a lot of momentum. You can't just... We like to say if the train is going 100 miles an hour that way and you want it to go 100 miles an hour that way, you don't want it to happen all at once because it's really hard on the contents of the train. And really, it's not even a physical possibility. And so that's why we said to our friend a while back, the way to get rid of doubt is to do it before it gets started. And so the way that you soften fear is by starting emotions that don't feel fearful and encourage those. It's more about what you are encouraging rather than what you are discouraging. It's more about what you are thinking than it is about what you are not thinking. It's more about giving more airtime to things that feel happy than airtime to things that feel fearful. In other words, it is a certain thing. We could throw a video up on the screens in this room about something that's happening somewhere, someone's impression about what's happening somewhere on the planet. And if you were willing to sit and watch it long enough, fear would begin to burn in your belly, because you would reach a point of awareness that your inner being will not join you in, and that feeling of fear is in fact your vibrational divergence from who you really are.
So maybe the difference is, so when Esther was playing her hide and seek game, it was a this way, not this way. Whereas fear, so if I was...
In that example, it was a this way, not this way. Mm-hmm. But when you've got fear, it's a this way, not this way. In other words, there's more momentum in all of it. And so the stakes feel higher. And the reason the stakes feel higher is because your control of those conditions is less. You getting this?
So if it's intuition, you don't have a lot of angst, or it just feels like...
Well, in order to even have intuition, you've got to be in alignment. Mm-hmm. Intuition and inspiration, we are meaning the same thing. Mm-hmm. So what that is your realization of what Source knows and is encouraging given where you stand. That's literally that path unfolding that we were talking about earlier. We like to approach this conversation in this way. Imagine a cork bobbing on the surface of the water, and let's call that tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Let's call that pure positive energy, high-flying disc, for the sake of this analogy. Now you can hold that cork under the water, and let's call that negative emotion. In the moment that you let go of that cork, it's going to bob right back up there. The only reason it's down there is because you've pulled it down there. And the only reason that you feel fear is because you've pulled it down. In other words, you've brought it from the vibration that it would be in otherwise. So well-being is unless you disallow it. That's the best way to explain it. Well-being is unless you disallow it. Now, that's hard for people to hear because they disallowed it without knowing they were disallowing it. They've been disallowing it just by acting like most other normal people. So it doesn't feel fair now to have the momentum of their disallowance show up. But most people were not even aware they were disallowing it until there was a manifestation, because they are not associating the way they feel with anything valuable. Isn't that good to know? But if you're aware of the way you feel mattering, so you're catching it again and again and again in the early subtle stages when it's easy to stop the momentum, then you never get to the place of fear about anything. You just don't get there.
So once you're there, tapping into intuition is just finding a feeling that feels better?
Here's the thing, though.
That feels better?
Here's the thing. You can't be inspired and fearful at the same time. They're two very different frequencies. And so you could say, do I prefer to be frightened or inspired? And say that to yourself on a pretty regular basis. And in the morning, think about what it feels like to be inspired. In other words, think about that hit you got on something. You just had an impulse and you followed it through, and you saw the payoff immediately and you knew it was inspired. And hold that vibration. Tracy called her mother one day. We love this story. Years ago, Tracy was in California. Jerry and Esther were in San Antonio. And Tracy said, "Oh, I got to come home. I need my Abraham-Hicks." And Esther said, "What's going on?" She said, I can't. She said, I just don't feel good. I need to come. When's the next Abraham seminar? I'm going to come. I want to be in town when it happens. And so Esther told her. And then Esther said, "Why do you want to be at that seminar? What is it that the seminar, what are you thinking it will do for you?" And Tracy says, "I don't know. I just remember that, last time I was there, we were in Austin, and I was sitting there, and I don't even remember what Abraham was talking about, but I just had that feeling of yes. I just wanted to shout yes and jump to my feet saying yes." And then she said, "Oh, never mind, it's back." You just have to focus where it is, you see. You have to have already made the distinction of how this feels and how this feels, and then you just have to guide yourself into the thoughts that feel the way you want to feel. But you have to let the way you feel be the manifestation you're looking for. That's the key to living unconditional love. Letting the way you feel be the manifestation you're looking for. Because you can do that now, you can do that now, you can do that now. And you know what? Now is all you got. Now is all you've got. So if you can do it now, oh, that feels better. Did you get what you were looking for? No, why? Well, because you're happy. Well, my happiness doesn't depend on getting that. Doesn't prevent it either. Yeah. Enough?
I think so. Thank you.
Yeah, really? You really don't?
I have so many questions, but
Well, we just want to make sure that inspiration thing is satisfied within you.
so maybe intuition is an inspiration feeling, and fear is a
Here's the way to look at it. If you feel positive energy, it's your inner being. If you feel negative, it's your mother. What we're getting at is mothers have been warning you about this and warning you about that and warning you about this and warning you about that. So sometimes your feeling of not wanting to do something, if you want to know what you want to know is, where is this coming from? Is it coming from my alignment, or is it coming from someone else's worry about something? And we know mothers always get a bad rap, but good enough?
yes. Thank you very much.
So yeah, she stressed a lot of like really powerful points there. So much goodness in this one. Your opinion and inner being are not seeing things the same if you are feeling fear. Your feeling of fear is your vibrational divergence from who you really are. Your higher self is embracing the whole process of life, all the ups and downs and trials and tribulations. You know, it's causing growth, right? It's like you're meant to have trying situations. So what if we were all to take that into account instead of always in avoidance? You know, we're so accustomed to avoiding things that are difficult and saying, you know what, I trust whatever's showing up, and if it's trying, it's because it's going to make me, that much stronger, and I'm going to bounce that much higher, and it's a necessary part of my process. And as she said, you can't be inspired and fearful at the same time. So really look at yourself, and what state am I in when I'm getting this intuition? And if you're racked in fear, then you're out of alignment. So I would say it's not really intuition. And always asking yourself the question, what a powerful question in any moment. If you're moving towards, being fearful, do I prefer to be frightened, or do I prefer to be inspired in spirit, right? Inspiration in spirit. It's like, that's when you're tapped into your higher self. It's a choice. It's more about what you're encouraging versus discouraging, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. And, I love how she uses the cork analogy. The cork always pops back up. Well-being is always there unless you're disallowing it. And if the train's really moving, it's hard to turn around. So, that's why it's, you start getting those feelings, fearful thoughts going down the negative spiral. If you can catch it early, it's a lot easier to turn the train around, right? Yeah. If you're just aware of the way you feel mattering early, it's so much easier to switch those gears. So I loved her story where the woman's like, I really need me some Abraham, well, what is it that you wanted? Well, and she went into all the things she felt, and, her story of saying yes at the convention where Abraham was giving, a workshop, and then, oh, never mind, it's back, right? So she started focusing her attention in which direction. Let the way you feel be the manifestation you're looking for. If you feel positive energy, it's your inner being, it's your higher self. If you feel negative, it's your mother warning you. Man, that one rings true for me. My mom is so fearful about bad things happening for, to her children. And it's funny because, I've some of that is rubbed off on me at times where I'll have like, irrational fears about my child. And I've talked a little bit about that before, and they pop up. And this is such a great thing for me to recognize, because it's even popped back up in the last few days. I had a bad dream about him, and I talked to him about it yesterday, and sort of this fear that came over. So in this moment, I'm realizing this question is, as what surprise face, this is so for me, guys. I'm teaching best what I most need to learn. I happened to post a whole thing on Instagram today for the first time about teaching best what we most need to learn. that was inspired by this great quote that a friend posted by Yogi Bhajan, and it said, if you want to master something, teach it. So here we are coming full circle with a little synchronicity, how we ended up here. It's like, this is for me as much as it is for you. It's always that way, of course. And, if you're feeling fearful, you're out of alignment. It's not an intuition. It's something else, and your higher self is going to steer you in a gentle way. It's loving. It's the loving mother who's not racked with fear, not the version, the 3D version who maybe is, maybe meaning well, but cut off oftentimes from their higher self and being lost in fearful thoughts because they have so much love for their children, right? So, yeah, this has been epic. This has been beautiful. I hope this is helpful. I know it's been helpful for me, Yeah, it's been a fabulous Thursday. I have a song to leave you with. This is Blue Tech. The song is called Star Trails, very ambient and peaceful and joyful. And yeah, it's definitely good music to get yourself into the right energetic state so you can tap into your intuition. Till next time, journey well. Love you all so much. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.